Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Ian's Adventures. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Ian's Adventures. And what a wonderful video this is going to be. It's a bit of a controversial subject. We're going to talk about how to have a dump out here in the great outdoors, whether that's on the moors or in the woods or in a pothole. That's a little weird one, isn't it? I think you'd have to dump in a bag. I mean, a lot of people are a bit worried about this one, and they don't say the word like dump and have a poo and the number 2 and all that kind of stuff. Having a wee is quite easy, isn't it? Because you can just sneak off somewhere, drop your zip and have one. But ladies find it a little bit harder. So we're going to look at how to relieve oneself when the belly drops out here in the great outdoors. So there you are, you're walking quite happily on your way and you find yourself turtling for a squirt and your stomach's gone. What it is the movement of your body while you're walking promotes digestive function. That is to say, nature accounts for the movement of the human physiology in order to be able to promote movement of food and stool, because it's called stool, down through your digestive system and out through your lower sphincter. So the actual process of walking around out here in the great outdoors is going to cause you to want to have a poo. Alright, so we're going to look at different methods of doing that. This was supposed to be a 3-minute video. It's never going to happen. There's far too much to talk about when it comes down to having a poo and a wee out here in the great outdoors. Right, so you can either be on a camp on your own or, yeah, let's look at them two scenarios. You're camping on your own or you're in a group of people. Now if you're in a group of people, obviously we don't want to watch you having a poo or a wee, especially if it's a mixed group. It gets a bit weird. So you need to go away. You've got to be out there a good 200 feet at least away from your main camp. So we've got to look at how you find your way there. Now it's going to be difficult enough on a normal mid-afternoon, because when you look out into these woods, many of these trees look the same. So if you create yourself a little poo place, there's a good chance you're going to lose it. And once your belly cramps and you start around your campsite, you then got to start thinking about where you're camping. So we're going to look at how you actually find your poo hole, alright? And then we're going to look at, if you're on your own, a singular situation, and you're walking along, how can you get yourself into a pooing situation so you can drop a dump in a place where nobody's going to be affected by it, no dog walkers are going to stand in it, and all such things. Do you take it home with you? Do you leave it out here? Do you burn it? Do you just leave it there? Do you cover it up in moss and leaves? We're going to talk about it all. Cock on top, Max. Okay, so here I am, wandering along, happy as you like, and suddenly the belly drops, and I think, I need a Richard III. Right, so, what do? Do I panic? Do I run around trying to find a hole that's already been made by maybe a badger or a rabbit? Well, I know for a fact that badgers and rabbits don't like having to crawl over a turd when they're trying to get out to go and, look round. And all their little babies all trying to run around this number 2. So we don't utilise holes which are already occurring in the ground due to animals. Alright? So what you need to do is you need to get yourself a poo stick. A dump stick, whatever you want to call it. And in some woodland it can be difficult to find a good dump stick because a lot of the stuff is broken and it's rotten and it's crap. So what you need to do is find yourself a nice solid dump stick pretty quickly so you can dig yourself a hole. How deep does the hole need to be? I'll show you now. Okay, I found myself what I would see to be a good quality poo stick. Now this is what we call deadfall, which sort of lies in trees. The stuff on the ground is going to be fairly well rotten. So as soon as you try to dig your hole, and don't forget by now your stomach's cramping and you're getting a little bit desperate. You've left it a while, I'll sort it later and all that business. But now we're in a sort of bit of a crucial situation. So I advise people when they decide they want to have a turd, that when they're walking through the woods, be vigilant for locations and places. You want to make sure you're not near a path, alright? And you're not in clear view or on top of a hill where people can view you. Or maybe there's like a valley that drops up at the other side so people can, who are walking around watching birds and looking at the local wildlife, don't get to see your wildlife and dropping your previous dinner into the wildlife. Right, so this is a stick which I would say to be a good POO stick. Now, I've just started going a little bit more stealthy, so using a axe is quite noisy, even though it's good for bushcraft. So when you're whacking away, it makes a lot of noise. So what I've started doing is taking, remember how to take your pack off, people, there's a video on my channel about that. You drop it down onto your knee, and then you just slide it to the floor. All right, remember that. Diddly-dee. Now in the top of my pack, I have my little folding saw, got my Laplander, all right? So here I am, needing to go. Now I need to remember when I'm cutting this stick that I need to use both hands. So I need to be sort of there, so there. So I've got enough emphasis to get some power into the ground without the stick bending. So if I go for sort of there, I can cut it there. So for me, it needs to be just below my hip, top of my leg. So I can get that and trim that through. Good. Don't forget, I'm under duress at the moment, the belly's going. And at the other end, okay, use my Bergen, I cut myself a nice, sharp, diggy bit. Because your POO is only as good as the sharp end on here, so that it's going to do the job efficiently. Let's have a little bit more of that off, shall we? There we go. So this scenario is me walking through the woods. I've now got my efficient bushcraft POO stick. Okay, so we're in a position now where we can relieve ourselves, get rid of the tension. Right, so I'm going to move all these leaves to one side. Right, you'll notice I'm not too far close to that tree, and I'm not too close to the other tree. And the reason for that is because, as we know, trees have roots, and if you start digging down close to a tree, you're going to have problems. Now, the ideal place, I would say, in conjunction to this tree, and there's more than one reason, is because I can use the tree to lean on. Now, in mainland Europe and other places like that, people are quite happy. You've seen the videos, we've had a chuckle about them. Maybe you live there, I don't know. In England, in Britain, we have a toilet, right? And it's a pot we sit on like a chair, all right? But some places just have an hole in ground. And it can be a shock to the system for some people, especially the English, because we're a bit weird like that. So, to squat, you just come up and give it that one, yeah? Get yourself comfortable. Do you get me? Yeah, so it's like, because that is a natural position for human beings to have a dump, because it lines everything up nicely and it'll just come out. A lot of people suffer bad constipation because they use toilets, and the body doesn't want to poo when you sat on a toilet. Isn't it a funny situation? What a wonderful subject. So by getting this close to the tree, I can, obviously I'm going to move my Bergen, that'll get a bit messy. So about here, the tree roots drop off. We'll come to, I'm going to dig an hole. I'm going to use the pointy bit and I'm going to mark out a small hole on the ground, because you want to make sure your hole's not too small, because otherwise you're going to be trying to aim, aren't you? So we're going to start digging. Oh, there. It weren't as good as what I thought it were, but I can just chop this end off now, and I chop this end off and we can go again. Hang on. But now my stick's a little bit, hang on. My stick's a little bit short, so if I struggle a little bit. 3-minute video. What a stupid idea that was. So I'm going to dig now. Oh, I'm alright, I've still got enough room for 2 hands. I'm going to dig myself a hole. And the longer this takes, the more desperate you're going to be getting. But I need to keep this Could get yourself a few roots out now and use it for cordage. I need to keep this soil close by because I'm going to be filling it in. Now the hole depends on how big your turds are going to be. If you're a big turder, you need a good sized hole. So I'm going to get all that out now and I'll bring you in. Okay guys, so I reckon that's about deep enough. About that deep. It's about almost the length of my lower leg. That's called your gastrocnemius, by the way. Bit of useless information for you. So there we go. So we've got the hole. So now we can move on. So now we've got this far. We're doing absolutely cracking. Top mark. So we need to dump in that hole. Now you can do the standard procedure. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm obviously going to leave my pants on. That'd get really weird, wouldn't it? You know that blurry thing that people do and they blur all your tattle out. Right. You can go European. Yeah. We're good. Cock on. Sorry, love. No, I'm just showing people how to have a poo. Yep. Okay. Right. So you can do that one. But what's the problem with this one? You're going to dump in your trousers. And all the girls know that sometimes we spray a bit from the front side. Right. So by having the tree, top marks. So we can aim ourselves up, we can drop the log into the ground and we're on a winner. Now if people want to do the one-legged special, that's fine. That's fine because you've got a bit more security from both sides. Cracking. But generally, you can have it generally, so you can drop the trouser off. If you want to do the one-leg trouser shuffle, you're on a winner. But I generally find myself a tree, get myself into, people might hear you, so I think they'll stay away when they know what you're doing. Right, so now we've finished, and the rear end's a bit crusty, it's got a bit messy, so what we need to do, because you can use toilet roll, but hang on. JB, God. Oh. And by now you've done that, so you're feeling good in yourself. You can use normal toilet roll, but make sure it's biodegradable. You don't want to be wrapping it up and leaving it so that badgers and foxes can dig it up and eat it. That'd be weird. But this stuff, tree, POO, this moss is awesome. It's got bacterial qualities. And you can wipe your bootsy with that, and it's so comfy. It's like having fur on your bootsy. So you crouch in, and you just reach, making sure you're not eating out. Pull. And you're probably going to be cleaner than. Sorry, you're going to be cleaner than you were before you set off. Wonderful. So that's one way of doing it, everyone. And then once you've done that and it's all finished, you get your poo stick. You don't want to go leaving that there. Right, and then you push all the gubbins back into your hole. Bye bye poo. All gone. All gone. Stub it down a little bit. Yeah. So you've got, it's in. I don't think you can do this with any decorum, can you? I've seen people on YouTube try, straight faced and everything, show you how to have a dump it wood. Now, and then it is, pat it down a little bit, and then get some leaves. Leave no trace and all that. So there you go. Okay, so we've done that, all right? If you want a wee, just go and do it in something, all right? Just don't do it next to a path. Don't do it on any wild edibles or weird like that. Right, so we've done the bit where you're walking along, you get a bit, and then yeah. Right, so now we're going to look at what happens if you're on a campsite. The municipal situation when you're at a campsite and you've got to go away and relieve yourself and you don't want people to see you and it's got to be all aesthetically nice and it might rain and all these other issues, we've got to address everything, haven't we? So everybody's happy, because there's always somebody who's not going to be happy, and there's always that one person who refuses to use the toilet that everybody else is using, and they disappear and use the previous method. So we're gonna imagine that we've got a campsite. Hang on, wait a minute. This is the shelter. Now, some people ain't got an imagination. You've got to try and find one. Borrow one if you need to. Right, so this is the shelter with the tarp and all that business. There's all your mates. They all having a bit of a bevy and all that lot. Now, what comes with Guinness and food? Going to the toilet. So we've got to create a toilet space. Off we go. At this point, I have to interject. If you are close or nearby a stream, try not, under most circumstances, to wee. In fact, no, back up. Try not, in any circumstance, to wee or poo in the stream. Why? Because I might be down there stealth camping and you can't see me. And I don't want to drink what you've drank, if that makes any sense. So stay totally away from streams, ponds, rivers, lakes, and even the sea, because I also go swimming in the sea and I don't want to swim in your sea, if that makes any sense. Onward. Right. If you're going camping with your mates and you're not walking stupidly far, all right, you're just having a general wild camp in a local wood or piece of forestry or a permission or somewhere like that, it's always a good idea to take one of these. Now, people may call this a cop-out, but a lot of people, being English, may call this sensible, right? So you can't, we will dig a hole. We're going to do the hole, but also I want to offer this as an option, and you can get these, this one's a high gear one, from most places. 20 quid, £15 in some places, or you might know somebody letting you have one for a tenner. You might want to take a portable loo, in which case you can take the POO on with it. Now that's the idea behind this, is that you can crack the lid and sit down for a poo in relative comfort. Because when you're on a municipal campsite and you're enjoying yourself in a social environment, you want to be able to sneak off in the middle of the night or during the night or in the afternoon, whatever, and have a little bit of a dump, right, in comfort, right? But sometimes you're off with your mates and you're off in the wilds and there's a few of you and you create a campsite from nature, like a bushcraft campsite, and you don't want to have that hanging on the back of your bergen, because that might look a little bit weird, a bit over the top maybe, yeah? You can always build one. You bushcrafters, if you've got any bushcraft wild campers out there, use your imagination, build a toilet, eh? Something like that, but just out of sticks. So you've got the place you want to call throne, all right, home, throne, get the joke, anyway. There's some bits and bobs I'd take with me if I were making a campsite pool place. A little tarp is one. Because if it's going to rain, you want to keep yourself out of it while you're dropping one, all right? Also, come in handy, an emergency poncho, because it's a distance. If it's bouncing down with rain, you're going to be walking there. By the time you get there and you've got all your coats on, everything on, you've got to take all your coat off and do yourself, get your trousers down, get the one leg out if necessary, and get yourself in that situation. But if you've got yourself a little poncho, leave the clothes on that you've got, stick your poncho off and just go wandering off into the woods in your underpants if necessary, have your turd and then make your way back. I'm trying to think of the words I can use, but I struggle with it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've now imagined a camp. Let's imagine it, hang on. So we've got us fire pit here that we're going to get rid of and leave no trace. And then we've got us lean-to shelters and we're all sitting around talking about stuff, you know, just general campy stuff. And then you decide you need to go. You are desperate to go. You've left it as long as you can because you've been having a really deep, in-depth conversation with one of your mates about whatever subject. And then you think, oh, I'm off. You come over here to this tree because you remember this is a nice white tree. It stands out. Pick a tree that stands out, because when you've had a few tinnies or whatever it is in woods, you're going to have to know where you're going, basically. You don't want to go wandering off out there and be lost in the never-ending supply of trees, which and once you're lost and you need a POO and you get out to make a POO stick with and all that business, you're in a world of hurt. Right, so you come over here to this tree that you've all designated and you get out of that umbilical cord and you follow, you're just following it. You're cramping, knees are buckling. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, why did it have to be so far? Oh, where is it? Oh, I can see. And why can he see? Or why can she see? Because we got out here with a glow stick. And the glow stick just offers you that relaxation. Settles your mind that you're close to relieving yourself of the stresses of your bowel system. Right, so we've got to the toilet, and it's got a little tap, so if it's raining and drizzly and horrible, you're not going to have a really, really nasty experience. Now, when you're out here at Woods, it's all got to be, it's all got to be enjoyable. You've got to enjoy this. Let's just set this up so we can show you what we've got. You've got to enjoy this experience, everyone. So you don't want to be sitting here all wet and cold and miserable. So you've got this, you can come under here, look, let's put this down. You can go, you've got, let's move it back then a little bit. You're here. You're underneath, it rains and you're happy, you're looking out into woods and it's glorious. And next here you've got your toilet roll. Now this is in a bag. Please do me a favour, people, don't put it in a bag and leave it. Too many dog walkers do that and there's always going to be controversy. If you just dump in a bag and leave it hanging on the tree, that's not going to look good. So you've got your toilet roll you've brought with you, and it's biodegradable, so it's not going to damage the environment. Yeah, make sure you get a biodegradable one. And then you're not going to leave it in a plastic bag. So that's there, and it's not going to get wet and damp. It's not worse than trying to pick the first piece of toilet roll off when your paper's damp and it's all coming off in bits. And you've got to clump a toilet roll, you've got to scrape your arse with. So you've got your toilet roll in a bag, it's nice and safe, and I've put that on some rocks. Let's fetch it all, let you have a look. Here we go. So, what we got for you? You need to enjoy it. So you've come over and your little rain cover, yeah, all good. And you've got your toilet roll. And if you get a bit scared or you think you've seen a ghost or something horrible's happened, you've even got a little torch there that I've put in for you. That's nice, isn't it? Very thoughtful of me. And also come in handy if you think you're going to lose your way back, right? And then you've got some hand sanitizer for after you've done the deed. So you'll be able to sanitize your hands, and you can sit there on the toilet reading your paper, yeah? Cracking. So you sat there reading your paper, and then you've even got some coconut soft wipes. I'm not advertising, they're just there, and I don't think they're even biodegradable, so you need to take them home with you. Don't leave it out like that. Oh, that's not biodegradable, just don't bring it. Right, so I'll just use that as an example, you get the idea. So there you go. So we've come over to the toilet, so you can either use this wonderful potty there, yeah, and when you've done your dirty deed, just drop a few leaves on top, yeah, just to cover it up, so the next person who comes along to enjoy this experience doesn't get the full whiff to you when they open the door. And then down here we've got the hole in the ground. Now how deep does it need to be for a group of people? Let me stick this stick in. Obviously more people, more turds, so we're looking at that deep now. So we're talking from the ground up to sort of there on my leg, so it's the same distance again really ish than it were before. And every time you drop one, you're going to get some leaves like this and drop them in. Now I like to offer a little bit more of a service, so instead of just having the toilet roll, I've brought some more of this moss. We've gathered some moss for the full outdoor experience. Now when we've done, wait a minute, I'll just put you back up tripod. So when we've done with this toilet, and it's fairly well, you want to leave it again about that far from top, so at least animals aren't going to smell it and come and dig it up. And then once you've done that, let's move some of this. These leaves that you've been pulling in, I've saved all the dirt over here. We can get a stick, this one's rotten like, but we can fill in the hole on top. Yeah. And what I've done when I've made the hole is I've created a grass sod or a sod on top. So all I've got to do when it's all full is just get the sod and drop it back over, and it creates a shell. and then you get the leaves and you cover it all over. And if you're having like a weekend camp, all you got to do then is move over and dig another one next to it about 6 inches over this way, and then you can start using that one. But obviously I've made it next to the tree as well, so you can do the squatting business nice and relaxed, looking out into the woods, thinking about, you know, your hike the next day or what you're going to make next. So now we've finished with it, we're packing up, we're moving on. So you've got to make sure you leave no trace. So we know about throwing the leaves all over the top and it's well buried. And then if you brought in a bin and all this tattle, you just drop it all, because it's going to be a new bag. Don't put this stuff in with the turds in the bottom. Change the bag, alright? And then if it's not too far to walk out, obviously if you're bringing a dustbin, you're not too far away from where you've been coming from, or the car or whatever. Take all your dump in a bag and take it home, alright? Get rid of it. And then put all your other stuff. Newspaper's going to come in handy if you run out of toilet roll. So there you go, all that goes in there, and then you can take that away with you. We take the tarp down and nobody can even tell that we've been here. So we've had a wonderful, wonderful poo situation out in the woods, relaxing, enjoying it, even if it's raining. And then we take everything away with us and we've left no trace at all. Oh, take your string and all. You don't want to leave it string, it'll garrot somebody when they're walking the dog or walking through the woods. Now a lot of people who are professional at pooing outside will have said at some point during this video, no, there's another way you can have a poo, by utilising an horizontal tree or something on the ground that you can get yourself on and perch one's body over the back. And it's always better to find something which you can take a grasp of, because there's nothing much worse than squirting out a poo and then suddenly you find yourself on your ass in your poo, and you don't want to. So you get yourself into this position, and I'll show you. Bear with me, because it has to be realistic. Right, so here we are. Drop one's bags, yeah, and this is going to stop you pooing in the gusset of your trousers. So you get your thing down into a position, drop top of your legs on here, and you can relax, check out your surroundings, and empty oneself. Alright guys, I had to put that one in at the end because I didn't want any hate. A lot of people use this method, and I didn't want that. This is really nice. I might come here. If I'm in these woods again, I'm coming to this spot. This is really comfortable. So ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of this video, and it's been great fun. But I have to tell you that when you go camping, if nature calls, go with nature. You have to I've known people go camping for a full weekend and they'll be turtling since the first night, and they will refuse to poo in the great outdoors because I think it's a bit weird. We're designed naturally to poo out here. The squatting position is humans' natural way to drop a dump, and unless we do it properly, we're going to end up with digestive problems, and if you hold it, you can cause internal problems. And the walking process, as we mentioned earlier, in nature is designed to make your stomach move. So if you're putting food in one end, we've got to expect it to come out of the other. And if people, I mean, I don't promote drinking in the outdoors as such. I mean, it's all right if you're, you know, not too far out there, but if you are having a drink and a social drink in a local woodland and such like, in a safe environment, that's going to promote the fact you're going to want to go to the toilet. So this is really, really important for people. We don't want people to be suffering with constipation where it's all got backed up. We don't want people shuffling around and we don't want people falling in the pool because they don't know how to do it properly. All right, and how to clean themselves up. Because a lot of the time if you've got germs all over your hands and such like, you're taking that back to your camp. Do you follow me? So you're sharing the issue with other people. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm hoping I haven't missed out. I wanted it to be 3 minutes long, at least 5. But no way, there were far too many things I had to consider, and I couldn't leave the job half done. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please share it, because there's not many videos about people pooing, alright? Humans have got a problem with talking about, not some nationalities aren't, but us British, we're very anal, we're very a bit particular about talking about weeing and pooing. It had to be done, I had to do it. I know the people who've done them, they've done a cracking job. I just wanted to put my little edge on it, just to help you a lot. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.